Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and I have two beautiful children. Carter is 4 and Capri is 6 months. So I have been through the newborn phase twice now and come out alive, barely. Because let me tell you, both of my kids were extremely challenging newborns. I have seen it all. I have tried all of the things. So I'm going to distill it down for you, the things that I think are really essential and worth it, and the things that may not be worth your money. If you are new here to my channel, please subscribe. I do videos on home, lifestyle, motherhood, all different types of topics, and I talk more about day-to-day motherhood things over on my Instagram stories, so check there as well. It's Vassor Beauty, and there's so much to talk about. We're gonna just go right into it. Now, I would say the number one product that gave me peace of mind that I had the second time and did not have with Carter is this guy right here, a baby scale, because you may or may not know, the first few months of having a baby, there's such a huge focus on their weight and are they getting enough, are they growing appropriately, and you don't really know until you do the doctor's visits. I had a really hard time with Carter, and so I learned the second time I want a scale so I could track her weight and her growth at home. But just being able to check in every few days to see that her weight was indeed going up made me feel so much better. When it comes to swaddles, let me tell you, I had 2 Houdini babies that could get out of any and every swaddle on the market. My favorite for both of the kids are zipper style swaddles because they can't get out of it. And I know that sounds bad, but that's what you want. You want something nice and snug that they can feel secure in and they can't break out of, because if they break out of it, they wake up and nobody wants that. So if your baby prefers arm down swaddle, which both of my kids did the first few weeks, I like the Woombi. As time went on, they did want to have their little hands up. So for that, I like the Love to Dream swaddle. It looks like a little starfish because it lets their hands be up by their face, but not so far out that they can startle themselves awake. So now let's talk a little bit about supplements. Vitamin D is a supplement you want to start giving from day one because they are not getting enough through breast milk alone. It's important for brain development. And next up is a probiotic, the specific strain of good bacteria that helps them with their developing little tummies. Because if there is one thing, and one thing alone, I wish I knew before having a baby, is that it is very common and very normal for your baby's digestive system to still be developing those first 3 months. And that will account for things like unexplained crying, fussiness, seeming like they are in pain or discomfort when you've tried everything and nothing seems to work. Most likely it is tummy issues. Now, in terms of supplements for mama, this is also extremely important because we are growing and sustaining a human life here, okay? So I take this very seriously. And when I was first pregnant with Capri, I found out that the prenatal I was taking, there was a third-party independent test done, and it contained high levels of lead and other dangerous heavy metals. I absolutely freaked out and then continued to do a lot more research to come across Ritual, which is the prenatal and now postnatal vitamin that I take, and I could not recommend more. And they're very kindly partnering with me on this video. So on that same third-party research study on prenatals, Ritual was given an A+ grade at the very, very top of the list. They put the ideal amounts and combination of nutrients and vitamins that you need while you are pregnant, and now specifically they have a postnatal formula, and it's about filling in the gaps in your diet because more is not more when it comes to certain nutrients. So they have the ideal amount. The coolest thing about Ritual, you can go on their website, it will show you why that's included, how much is included, and you could even click on it and find the individual source and manufacturer of each and every single ingredient in here. Everything is in its most bioavailable form, which means your body can actually absorb it. I personally take all of my vitamins at night right before I go to bed, and they have special flavoring to them so they don't taste nasty. These are vegan and environmentally friendly, and it's kind of crazy and next level what they do here. So instead of having fish oil, they have algal oil, which is kind of what the fish eat that give them the benefit that you normally would get from fish oil. You get it at the direct source. I feel so strongly about Ritual as a brand, the integrity, their transparency, everything that they stand for. And whether you are currently pregnant, breastfeeding, or even beyond, they have a regular women's multi. They even now have kids vitamins, and you can try them for your first 3 months for 10% off. I have these on auto ship. It's just one less thing I even have to think about. My code for that is VESOR, and I will have the link down in the description box. Next up is this right here, electric baby nail file. Oh my goodness, does this help you out? Does this make your life easier? Because yes, they do make these little baby nail clippers. You're still dealing with little moving hands and teeny tiny nails, and I cut Capri like 2 or 3 times, and so I was like, you know what, enough. It's idiot proof, okay? Like, you cannot cut them, it does not hurt them. There's even a little light so you can see what you're doing. Now, I also happen to have newborn babies that only wanted to be held all the time. And I think that's pretty normal, okay? They call it the 4th trimester because your baby's still adjusting and they don't even know they're a separate person from you yet. So they feel safe in your arms. They feel safe if they're being held. And so for that reason, a carrier is going to save your life. And I have tried 6, 7, 8 carriers at this point, and I will just skip over all the ones I tried and tell you the winner for the newborn age. It is this one, the Ergo Embrace. This is a newer carrier. It has the best features of a structured carrier insofar that it gives you that nice back support and shoulder support. It's not bulky, it's cozy, it keeps baby nice and close to you, it's easy to put on. And I lived in this. I probably wore this for 6 to 8 hours a day. I still to this day, now that she's 6 months old, have her in this all the time. Next thing is definitely going to win the award for grossest gadget, but also most useful if you have a baby that has tummy and gas problems, like as I mentioned before, I very much did with both kids, and it is this. It's called the Windy. There was actually the brand name one by Frida Baby, but now there's a bunch of knockoffs. I find they all work exactly the same. So this little guy, I'll let you read the instructions yourself, but it instantly relieves the gas for baby clothes, especially in that newborn phase, okay? I'm the biggest fan of the onesies and the zipper. I mean, you are changing that baby so many times a day, and at night you just want easy access to the diaper. You don't want to deal with 20 different buttons. For the most part, Capri just lives in these onesies, and my favorite are the Burt's Bees. They're made with organic cotton. They have cute patterns. They're nice and fitted. I don't like the ones that are super baggy. They're all zipper, and the price point is great. I believe they're $13 each, and they always have new patterns coming out. In terms of baby monitor, I now this time around have a Nanit monitor. I am obsessed with it, and more so when she started sleeping in her crib and we started initiating independent sleep, where I can track how much she's sleeping, how well she's sleeping. This is the coolest, smartest monitor ever. I get nightly sleep reports. I can see exactly how long she's been sleeping when she wakes up. I also know how long it's been since her last nap, and I can track so much on here. It is crazy. I could go on, but I love the Nanit monitor. It is pricier, so I wouldn't say this is a must-have. It's a nice to have if you are someone who appreciates that level of information. For the newborn days, there is an app that I use, the Baby Feed Timer app, and I would track all of her feedings, her diaper output, and that's just so helpful to have because look, you're not sleeping a lot. It's easy to lose track of things, and it's just nice to know, like, this is the last time she nursed, this is how many diapers she's had a day. So you can show that to your pediatrician, know that things are on the right track. So now let's talk about breastfeeding things, because another one of the things I was not prepared for is how much breastfeeding will consume your life. And I don't care who you are, how many times you've done it, there's a transition period, and just prepare that it takes several weeks to several months to really get the flow going. So the nipple shield, this saved me, this saved my nipples. This is just amazing. It does 2 key things. It gives your baby something to latch onto if they're having a hard time with latching, because remember, your baby is learning too. It's going to take them a little while to learn what they're doing and how to get it right. And secondly, this will protect you from pain. Things could get really painful, raw, red, cracked. And so by putting this on top when you are in pain, it will help relieve some of that pain. With Carter, this is the only reason he was able to continue breastfeeding. He had major latch issues, and this was much easier for him to latch onto. So he used this for the first 2 to 3 months, and Capri only really needed it on and off the first couple weeks, but still saved me during those times where things were painful and while we were figuring things out. One thing I will just say in general, consult with a lactation consultant, but it's good to talk to an expert, and they're all going to be able to individually help you for your situation. And then I had a copious amount of these guys, which are reusable nursing liners. So you put it in your bra, and when you leak, it will absorb into here instead of getting everywhere, ruining your shirt. No, this one is gonna look funny. It looks like a little vibrator, which it is, but it's just a vibrator for your boobs, and it helps to relieve clogged milk duct, and that can lead to mastitis, which is a very painful infection that gives you flu-like symptoms. You don't want it. So this is specially designed to get in there and help relieve those clogged ducts. Also, the vibration helps the fatty deposits get out and into your baby, which is what you want because that's what's helping them with the weight gain. Also, for breastfeeding in the middle of the night, I liked this little portable light called the Vava light because you need a little bit of light to see what you're doing. So you just tap it on, you can change the color temperature, the brightness, the battery lasts forever. Oh, sound machines. Definitely something you want because while your baby is in the womb, they hear very loud sound all the time. And what it is your blood rushing through your placenta. And that's a comforting sound for them. So while they're sleeping, it's good to have that background sound machine on. A lot of people recommend the baby shisher. And what I have to say is no on the shisher because that shuts off after 30 minutes and that wakes your baby up. So I found this one, which is a little owl, and it does not shut off, and it can be taken portable or you can keep it plugged into the wall. That's what we use for her first couple months, but now we have moved on to the Hatch Baby, which has more functionality. That one is plugged into the wall and you can control it with your phone. You can set it to a schedule. So for portability reasons and to bring with you in the hospital, this little owl sound machine is great. And then as your baby gets older, I like the Hatch Baby. Now this video is getting crazy long, so I'm going to quickly go through some of the things that I just don't think are worth it. So there's this Baby Bjorn bouncer and it's over $200. And for what it is, I just don't think it's worth that. I think the concept of it is great and Capri does like it, but you can get a very similar style bouncer for a lot less money. So the bouncer itself, the concept, yes, but this particular one, do you need to spend over $200? My opinion is no. With Capri, I had the Halo bassinet that a friend gave to me. And do I think the Halo bassinet, yes, it has some cool features to it, like the side does go down, it swivels, so it's convenient, but it's also large and heavy and a little bit hard. So if I do go on to have baby number 3, I would get one of the bassinets that attaches to the side of your bed. I don't think the Halo bassinet is bad. I just would not use it again the next time around. In terms of swings, Carter tried the Mamaroo bouncer and that one's over $200. He hated it. He ended up liking the Fisher Price swing because it has more of an actual swing to it, but Capri didn't end up liking it. So I feel like with swings and bouncers, it's one of those things that's very particular to your baby. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about breastfeeding pillows. So if you're a newer breastfeeding mom, I liked the My Breast Friend because it gives you support and it attaches onto you. Second time, I ended up using the Boppy because it's just easier to get on and off, but it doesn't give you quite the same amount of support. Both are good though. Oh, a changing table is something that I barely use at all with both kids because what you end up realizing is you're going to change your baby wherever you are. I just have one of those little portable changing pads, so whether we're downstairs on the floor or up on the bed, I just lay that down and change them that way. The soooo, that's a no for me, dog. I was so desperate with Carter and his colic and gas issues that I did buy it in the middle of the night. It's a $1,200 like special magical baby bassinet that can only be used for the first like 5 to 6 months. Carter hated it. I just don't think it's worth the money. I don't. Also, the DockATot, I prefer the Boppy Lounger because it gives them a little bit of an angle and you're not supposed to let them sleep in the DockATot or any of those loungers. The DockATot is flat and a lot of babies don't like to be laying flat when they're lounging because it's just not as comfortable for them. A lot of people do have their babies sleeping in the DockATot, but that is not something you are supposed to do. The last hot take that I'm going to tell you right here, right now, and you do not have to follow this advice, but just for me and if I have a future baby, I am not a big fan of the passy. They're a great temporary solution, but as your baby gets older, they could become a major crutch. Both of my kids never took a passy and that ended up being a blessing in disguise because they were able to transition and become great independent sleepers. My friend has a baby the same age as Capri and she is now dealing with the wrath of the passy situation because what happens is if it falls out, you have to constantly put it back in or your baby can't fall asleep. They become so dependent on it and it's a hard habit to break. So you can choose to give your baby a passy or not. It does have some benefit. It can be comforting. But if your baby does not take the passy, don't force it because it's one less thing I have to undo later on. Okay, again, all of this is just my opinion, my experience that I wanted to share with you, with the world, because it would have helped me out in retrospect knowing all of this. So links for everything is going to be in the description box. Also, my code to get 10% off your first 3 months using Ritual vitamins. That code and link is going to be in the description box as well. Please subscribe if you're new here and you watched all the way to this point in the video, and I will see you soon with a new one. Bye.